Hey Neil, how we doing?
Doing well, Kel. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing fabulous. So after a few weeks off, we are back at it for episode 7.
We did it. Siete.
Yeah, yes we did. Siete for sure, and yes, we are continuing to do it. And we're going to do it this week here with Jon Schack.
Hi,
John,
guys.
welcome to the show. Welcome to the basement.
Thank you very much for the invite. Appreciate it.
Schack.
Absolutely. You know, when me and Neil were talking about who we wanted to have on early on, when we were talking about this thing, and Jon Schack, you came up like immediately.
Awesome. Yeah.
You know, and it was funny because we were talking. We haven't seen each other in quite some time.
Been a while, yeah.
I think the last time we saw each other, our kids were like, you know, kindergarten maybe, and then here they are graduating in college already. So, but it was funny because, you know, as we were talking beforehand, you even said, you know, I don't know if I'm a good person to be on the show. I don't know that I've been to that many shows, but, you know, that's the beauty of this show, right, Neil? You know, that it doesn't matter if you've gone to 200, 500, or 1.
Right.
You've been to a show, you've had that experience, and guaranteed you have at least one story to tell. You know?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
That's why, you know, we love having people like you on, not only because of, you know, the variety and everything, but because, like we said, we haven't seen each other in years.
Right,
so,
yeah, for sure.
And also, you're a really nice person.
I appreciate that, Neil. So are you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're a pretty good group of guys. But, you know, so obviously we go back years. You know, a lot of our connections are through soccer. You know, that's where it all started. I think you guys actually played on the same team for a bit, didn't you?
Yeah. We were on Vardar 78.
78, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Go Vardar, yeah.
And then obviously
Really good squad.
I was always a couple of years older.
Yep.
But, you know, I always remember hearing about the younger teams and you know, as the years went on, you just kind of got to know each other from whatever, and then we all ended up at UAD together for a while.
Yeah, that's right.
Sporting the Titan hat.
Yeah, I had to represent today.
Well, I'd rather see you represent the Titans than the Peppers.
Oh,
but,
this guy. See, that's why I did it.
That's why I did it. Pretty soon he'll show up in a Sting shirt. So, you know, not only that, I remember too, it's obviously we went to school together, and then I remember I was working at this company, and, you know, it's the summertime, and it was probably in May, and I show up to, you know, all of a sudden, look, first person I see is Jon Schack sitting at the desk, and I think he had a tie on.
Yeah,
we still had to wear ties back.
First
I'm like,
day.
what the hell are you doing here?
Yeah, that was my co-op.
Yeah, I'm co-oping here.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, this is like the best news ever.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was summer after sophomore year. Yeah.
And I remember we actually traveled a few times.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that was cool. You know,
Jackson Center. Remember
Jackson Center, and then Atlanta.
Atlanta, yeah.
And I remember you had to have been 21 because we actually got into a bar.
Yeah,
and
that
remember
was.
we saw that band play.
Oh, yeah.
And they had the chick lead singer.
Yes.
And she sang Rob Zombie.
Yes.
And it was like, blew my mind.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like totally amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it sounded a lot better because, you know, I had a few pops.
Yeah.
But
it definitely helped.
But no, I'll never forget that. So that was probably actually like the first time me and you saw any sort of live music together. And I tell you what, it was a blast.
I feel like we went to a restaurant that night and we didn't even know they were going to play. And it was, they were playing outside, weren't they? And we just like, it just happened.
Yeah,
and like,
it
this
was
is
definitely
cool.
not on purpose.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Not on purpose.
That's great.
So, which kind of reminds me of, you know, some of the shows we did see together.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think whenever we've gone to shows, we've definitely had a good time. We definitely had a good time. Do you remember any that stick out that we went to?
Yeah, I think the number one for me that I thought of when we first started talking about doing this was the Horde Fest that we saw. I think it was in '98.
Okay.
That was Tragically Hip. Tragically Hip, right?
No,
Bare Naked Ladies. Bare Naked Ladies.
Bare Naked Ladies.
Bare Naked Ladies was the lead. And Blues Traveler was there, and Ben Harper was there.
Yes.
We camped that weekend. It was
yes,
was
that
awesome.
was I'm not a huge Bare Naked Ladies fan.
Yeah.
I mean, we know Neil is.
I like the Bare Naked
Yeah,
Ladies.
yeah.
I don't hate them.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's a fun show.
It's fun music, right?
yeah,
It's
right.
perfect for Pine Knob
Right.
and like a festival like that.
Absolutely.
Because it's like, you can listen to them, you don't have to, whatever, you're just having fun.
And I mean, I mentioned a couple episodes ago how we had no Canadian followers. So News Bulletin, we do now.
Oh,
we do now. So I'm super excited about
you go.
that. And that's what I remember about that show is just the representation of the Canadian fan base.
Oh, man, it was...
Which was something to see. I mean, I mean, I thought it was kind of cool just to have almost like that national pride behind an entire band.
I remember they had a school bus, and they were hanging out of the windows on the highway with their Canadian flags, waving them. Canadian flags everywhere. Yep. Like, it was crazy. I remember we talked about it that day, being like, we don't do that with American flags. Like, these people are crazy. What's going on? But it was awesome.
Oh, no, yeah.
So much fun. And they were so nice.
I met a very good looking girl there. If you're watching, I think your name was Penny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Was her last name Lane?
Mm-hmm.
It was Penny Lane.
Oh, there you go.
And, you actually mentioned that Tragically Hip. That was the other one.
Yeah.
They were like the Canadian royalty.
Yes. And that was another one.
I love them, too. And
I did see them at Pine Knob, too. Yeah. Which we must have gone to that one together, too.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Hip. That was a great show.
That was a great show.
I've seen them twice.
Were first, and then the Hip came, I think, that same year, a couple months later.
Right.
And I remember talking to Penny, if you're out there. I'm just kidding. I go, are you going to watch the Tragically Hip show? They're going to come in a couple months. I think, or maybe it was, no, I think it was in a couple months.
Yeah.
And you probably told her, meet me right here on the railing.
Yep.
And she probably picked the wrong railing.
Yep.
We didn't have the technology back then.
Yeah. I'm going to be the one carrying the Canadian flag.
It says Penny on it.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so that it's funny because when we sit and do this, you start piecing all that stuff back together.
Yeah, well, it's been 30 years, right? Like, it's crazy.
It's like the three minds create all the brain cells required to have the memory.
I was going to depend on you guys for that help today, for sure.
I just remembered, okay, I've seen Tragically Hip twice, and I could have swore, one was at Pine Knob, that was the one, and there was a huge group. There was 8 people. Yeah. We all met up at Paul's. I think Charlie missed that one.
Yeah, probably.
But
he was at Kelly Clarkson.
Probably, more than likely. Unfortunately, it was the same day. So we know who wins that one. Right. But the other one we saw, and I think you were there, was Tragically Hip, I think at like the Fillmore, or it would have been the State Theater, or back in the day. And that was really, that small place.
Would have been cool to see them there.
Oh, my God. And especially, it's always a topic, bands that you either wish you saw or you're glad you did. That's one of them.
Yeah.
Because I think Gord, right?
Yeah.
He's gone now.
It's crazy.
And which reminds me, they had a Austin city limits special.
Oh yeah.
And which was really cool live that you'll catch every once in a while. And then after all that happened, they actually embarked on one final tour of Canada.
Really?
Oh,
that's cool.
They're like, it's terminal, blah blah blah. He's like, then I want to do one more, and kind of go out with the people.
Yeah, they had the biggest following, man.
And it was really cool. And I did get a chance to see that. It was awesome. I would recommend that to anyone, whether you're a Tragically Hip fan or not. Mm-hmm. So one of the ones I remember, Shaq, and we had him leading in to the episode here, was Primus.
Oh yeah.
And Primus is one of those funny ones, right? And me and you just went to that, and I think it was the Fillmore downtown.
Yeah, that's right.
It was a state
up in the balcony. Yep.
Yeah, and it was one of those ones where I was like, "Hey, does anyone want to go?" And blah blah blah, and I'm asking everyone, and you were the only one that bit.
Yeah.
To me, Primus is always one of those types of bands.
Yeah, it was.
They're super good, but
not everybody appreciates them for sure. Yeah.
Right. If you're in in heavy bass, they sure as hell ain't for you.
Right. Yeah, it's not the right band.
But I remember that show just killing it, and I'd seen them a few years before at Lollapalooza. They're actually the headliner in '93.
Wow.
Back in my
Yeah.
But what do you remember about that show? 'Cause
well,
I know we had the...
Yeah, you actually brought it up a couple episodes, I think, about them being a three-piece band, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had never seen that before. And probably I was so ignorant at the time. I didn't even know they were a three-piece band. I knew they just sounded awesome. I had a CD, back in the day. And I listened to it all the time. I'm like, yeah, I'll go. But watching Les just play and his ability just to jam so hard on that bass and sing, I'll never understand it.
I know. It is amazing.
I listened to him, actually, since we've been talking about doing this, I've been listening to him a ton on Spotify and whatnot. And the whole South Park thing, there's a bunch of stuff that came out. I didn't even, it makes sense. I probably knew that was them, but I didn't realize.
Yeah, right, absolutely.
And so there's a couple cool things out on Spotify and that I've listened to. So just watching him is amazing. And then you talked about Oysterhead too, right? Which, again, like I didn't know all the history of that band, but like I always liked their music too, so that makes sense. That's why.
I know. I always wish they had more. You know, other than like the one album.
Yeah.
Because obviously, you know, Les Claypool, Trey Anastasio, and then the one good thing to come out of the Police, Stuart Copeland. So,
yeah, that's true.
But yeah, no, and that's the thing. Like you said, is Primus isn't for everyone, but give it a listen, you know, for sure. And some of the lyrics they crack me up too. You know, it's the whole thing with them.
We just we were in spring break. We rented a place down in Florida for the week. My wife and my daughter went, and they were on the beach one day, and we had a golf cart, rented a golf cart. I'm driving around and my Bluetooth speaker, and I'm just blaring Primus the whole time, like by myself. I'm this old guy driving around. People are probably laughing at me. I don't care. It was so awesome.
That's hilarious.
I was hoping somebody would. The story was where somebody like, "Hey, turn that music
I was
down."
waiting for it. Yeah. Didn't come.
Or the other guy say, "Hey, turn it up."
Right? Yeah.
There for me.
High fives. Yeah.
And actually, Les Claypool was here on June 2nd, I think, at the Masonic.
Yeah.
And I was actually up north for a golf tournament.
Yeah.
So I couldn't make it. That was one of those ones I'm like, never would have thought to go to it. But then once I saw him, like, oh my God, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Because I know nothing, because he was with like the Flying Frog Brigade or whatever it is.
I looked at like he was playing music from all of his history, right? So like.
And that's what I was thinking. Like, I don't even care what he plays, just to be there, and,
right?
You know, hear him again,
and in that spot too, right? Like it would have been cool.
That bass, and then such the unique voice that goes along with it. It's awesome. You know, we mentioned obviously going to the Horde Fest, and it's funny because the more and more we talk about these, we realize who was actually there. So I mean, obviously the three of us, we know Paul was there. Dario had to have been there. Echon met us there.
Yep.
Echon, I don't believe, camped. But I mean, we did. We had like probably 8 to 10 people camping. And the one thing I remember is Schack could start a fire.
I'm good at starting fires.
He's good at camping.
Yep.
Real good camper.
He's a real good camper.
I can start a fire. That's true. I don't know if that's a good thing, but
well,
at a campsite it is. Yeah.
Well, do you guys remember though when we came out at the end of that Bare Naked Ladies finish? I mean, the energy of that place was insane.
Yeah.
We're going through the parking lot to get to the cars, and what did some of our friends to the north start doing? They were lighting off like
fireworks.
Yes. Like, you know, high grade fireworks.
Yeah, just in the middle of everybody.
Next thing you know, they're like kicking it around, so then they're just like firing all over.
Totally safe. No problem.
Yeah, there's no worries. No worries at all. And super easy to get to help, you know, in a situation like
It's funny, that camping story. I talked to my son Nathan the other day about, I told him the story. I'm like, we got to do that. Like, I'd love to take you guys up there and go to like a show and like just get a campsite. Like, it was such an easy thing, right? We just pulled in and popped our tents and we're burning stuff. And you were the cooking man. You made breakfast. I'll never forget that.
I love making breakfast.
Yeah, you're the breakfast guy.
Yeah.
So, we got to do that.
If you want to do that, I'll
definitely
be on board.
Yeah. I think we totally should try to like pick a show.
We should.
Where we just get a bunch of people and go and do it again. I mean,
we'll get there. I've got some ideas.
Awesome. The only thing, if it is Limp Bizkit, I'm out.
Oh, come on. Wow. So I can't believe you remember my man crush for Fred.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? I'll never forget it. I remember back to when we worked together, and because that was '99.
Yeah,
around that time, right?
Yeah.
And
oh my God.
And I'll never forget because I come out, you're like, hey man, I got that new Limp Bizkit CD. I'm like, did you lose a bet?
What? You.
And you're like, no, you just got to listen to it.
I don't know how we're
like,
friends.
No,
I don't know how we're friends.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's funny because you're a little younger than me. Right?
Yeah.
But it's funny because it was around that time where, you know, you were getting past the Seattle scene and the grunge and everything.
Right.
And then to me, it was almost like a fork in the road.
Yeah,
you had a lot of like the Korn, Limp Bizkit. And I'm not lumping them all together. But it was more of like the harder.
But then there was like that ska, like Blink 182, and those guys came out right around the same time.
And then that around the same time.
It was kind of a weird time.
Yeah, pop punk.
Yep.
But that's when we started getting into like the Wilco Son Vol. More of like the Ben Harpers,
right.
Dave Matthews. It's like everyone kind of went their own way, and some shit's for some people and some ain't. And Fred wasn't for me at all.
Hey, John, in your defense, I can still jam to some.
Oh, for sure.
Fred Durst, for sure.
I mean, you've watched the Woodstock thing, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like,
and you know what?
I remember watching. I think I paid for the pay-per-view, sitting in my parents' like living room, like dancing around by myself, watching Fred. Like it was amazing. Which I know you interviewed a guy that was there, but I was in my parents' living room.
Yeah. Which I love, and that's the best part, and that's why, like I said, why we do this.
Yeah.
I mean, we connect on so many different levels, but then you're like, I like this. I'm like, I don't. But you know what? I would go to a Limp Bizkit show with you.
Well, the thing for me,
if you needed someone, I'd be.
So I will defend my love for Fred because, like, like growing up, being influenced by music in the '90s, like it was like rock and roll. Like alternative music and rap, right, were the two things that I listened to the most, and then like they kind of merged the two, right? Like it was like perfect. Mm-hmm. So that was why I enjoyed them so much, and they just jammed so hard. Music. And like the whole mosh pit thing, like it's just so much fun, and
that's definitely your style.
Yeah, definitely my style. Used to be, not anymore. So
Hey, let's make that clear right now.
I wish I could still, but not so much.
Do you remember just? I'm kind of all over the place. I usually start with these questions earlier, but why is live music important to you? Just music in general, and live music.
Yeah, it's interesting. I thought about this a lot. I knew you were going to ask me this question.
I thought you got off, but no, I slipped it in there.
Yeah. And I've actually listened to every podcast too, so I know like pretty much what everybody said. So I didn't want to say something that everybody else said. But
yep, you're that person in the meeting that wishes you went first.
Right. No, but actually for me, it goes back to like my family, right? Like my parents sang in the church choir. They used to drag me to church practice every Wednesday night. Like when I was like 5, I'd have to sit there and watch them sing, and then like on church on Sundays I'd watch, and like there was music. Bands sometimes would come and play, so that was part of it. And then my mom like made us all take piano lessons, and we all had to pick an instrument. I'm the youngest of 5 kids, so like I played the trumpet growing up. I only stopped because I couldn't stand taking it on the bus anymore. When I was in like 8th grade, I'm like, I cannot carry this thing around. So that I think that's a big part of it. The other thing I really enjoy about live music is just like the experience of like not only the band, but like being in that community with other people, watching how other people interact. Like obviously people watching is great, but so I think those are the two main factors, right? Like my family has been crazy into music. My mom's favorite movie was The Sound of Music. Like we were going to be the Von Schack family singers. Like that was her goal in life.
So that was her goal in life.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's cool. I never knew that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but I never even told you guys that.
No, absolutely not. Which is cool.
Now I just told about 500 listeners. We wish we had 1 million, but you just told about 500.
Yeah.
You told all the tens of our viewers.
Yeah, I was way high.
Your viewership's gonna go up after this podcast, but I'll share it with my Canadian friends.
There you go.
Please do.
Please do. Oh shit, that's too funny. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the Sound of Music, so soundtrack, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I had to throw a topic in there this week about any soundtracks, because we got the new setup, and obviously we got Apocalypse Now is what this is here. It's actually in Polish. I don't know if you guys know, I'm Polish, so it's super cool. But anyway, that's like one of the best soundtracks ever.
Yeah.
It takes place during the Vietnam War. You got a lot of that, late 60s, early 70s. Anything for you, you two guys that stick out as far as
that one right there, the Train Spotting one. That was always a good one for me. I think you got me into that actually, but
Cal got us both into it.
Yeah, definitely. That's one that I still listen to sometimes.
Keith too.
Yeah, absolutely. The Train Spotting one I've always thought, and we mentioned how they actually have 2 soundtracks for the first movie. Not to be confused, there's 2 movies, but the first movie actually has 2 soundtracks, the orange and the green.
Right, yep.
And
I had both CDs.
Right, so did I.
I think I still have it, by the way.
And I'm pretty sure a certain someone spilled a dip spitter on my second one, so all the stuff is all like brown.
But it's still there. Yeah.
Quinter.
Yeah.
Was that me?
I was going to say.
No, it wasn't you. No. Shout out to Quitter.
What up, Q?
You know, the one for me, too, and it was a movie, so it was the Doors movie.
Yes.
But on the soundtrack, yes. And actually the reason I wore the shirt is in that movie, the scene, and they play the Velvet Underground song, Heroin.
Right.
And I remember hearing it in the movie, I'm like, oh my God, that song is like the best. What is that? You know? So, of course, you don't have the Googler because it's 91.
Well, it didn't exist back then, right?
Right. So you watch the movie, and then you have to wait for the credits, and you have to like try to figure out, because it shows the name of the song, who wrote it, who performs it, and if you ain't fast, that shit goes.
If you pause your VHS, it's all blurry.
And that's the other thing is you didn't have like a DVR, so you're like, you end up having to watch the whole damn movie again.
Kids just don't understand what we went through.
But so it goes through, and obviously I knew it was Heroin. I go, Velvet Underground. I go, I've never heard of this guy. And you know, they're huge in the late '60s. Yeah. But you know, small window,
right?
You know, and then that was obviously Lou Reed was the main, and so this was, you know, 91. The movie came out, so I'm about 16. Next thing you know, I'm like this huge Lou Reed fan.
I remember that,
And I used to work.
I didn't even know who Lou Reed was.
I know, and I used to work at a place called Mr. Mustard's Chicken and Ribs, right? And the owner of it, we had cassette tapes. You know, and you had your little boom box in the back while you're prepping and shit, and he had all his tapes out, and there was like a bunch of Bowie and all this other. And then I look, Lou Reed, New York. I'm like, no shit, you know. So I popped that in. Then I was hooked, you know. Like I said, like, which Lou Reed, again, he's another one where a lot of people are either they really like him or they're like, eh.
Didn't you see him at the Fox or something?
A couple of times.
Yeah.
We saw him at the Fox. And then we saw him at St. Andrews.
Yeah, okay.
And that was the one that was just amazing.
Yeah.
You know, that venue, we actually saw him outside right before he went in.
Of course you did. You guys are the luckiest.
No pictures. No pictures. No pictures.
Oh, he's one of those guys?
Oh, yeah. No, we already told it, but I don't give a shit.
You probably had a big camera back then.
We showed up like literally right before it starts, right? Because at a certain point, you're like, well, okay, we're going to go when we need to go.
Yeah.
And we knew we didn't care to see whoever was with him.
Right.
So we parking behind St. Andrews, and I know it was me, you, I think Keith, probably Dario, and Paul. It was a smaller group, 5.
Yeah.
But we're in there, and all of a sudden we're walking to go to the front, and here's this huge bus, like right there. So like, you know, let's stand here for a minute or whatever.
Right.
Shut, door opens up, off walks Lou Reed, and I mean, from us, 15 feet away.
Wow.
So we're just standing there.
That's
and
cool.
This one guy runs up, right, like a poster, and he wants him to sign it. Well, this guy's buddy's standing there with a camera. Oh. And he's like, no pictures. I won't sign it till he puts it away or whatever. So the guy put the camera away, then he signed it. No way. Because he's like, no proof that he did it, so it's for a fan, not for money, you know. So then he signs it. We didn't say nothing again. We watched him. He turns around and walks in the back door. So we're like, well, fuck it.
That's awesome.
We walk around to the front. By the time we get in the front, he's already on stage playing.
Oh, my God.
Walked off the bus, yelled at this dude, went on the stage.
He was partying before the show just like you were. He just wanted to get there at the right time.
And remember, we got pretty darn close. I mean, I'm not saying it was like a sold out show or anything, but we got really close. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm seeing Lou Reed.
I know.
Wow, that's awesome.
10 feet away. I'm like, whoa.
I know. I mean, again, he's one of those ones, either you love him or you hate him. But
I feel like you've told that same story about 3 different bands. Like, you guys are the luckiest. You run into these people. I've never had that happen to me.
No.
That's awesome.
Oh, that stinks.
One day, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
We're pulling for you, bro.
You just keep going.
That's the thing.
And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
That is the absolute beauty of it. So what else did we go to, Shaq? I remember, not necessarily a concert per se, but we went and saw Henry Rollins' spoken word in Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
Which was a really cool event, right?
Right.
Totally, almost in the vein of like a comedy show.
Yeah.
Because he was actually super funny. You know, and had some great stories about being on the road with, was I think Black Flag and shit, right?
Right. Yeah, that's right.
And, but yeah, that was like something kind of odd. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, yeah.
What was your take on that?
Well, what isn't that? I think we went to the Blind Pig before the show. Because I remember going to the Blind Pig with you one time. And we didn't see a show there, but I think we just hung out there.
Correct. So that's where I had it confused. I thought we went to Ann Arbor for Primus and hung out beforehand.
Right.
It was
It was that show.
Yeah,
and then I think he played. Where did he play? Michigan Theater.
Michigan Theater.
Yeah. Yeah. Jeez, that was a long time ago. But yeah, no, it was cool.
And remember, because they actually had on the main floor, and they just had all folding chairs set up.
Yeah.
And not, you just sat the whole time, and it was like a comedy show. It was totally weird because it's Rollins.
Right.
You know, like you usually see bodies flying all over, and
Yeah, that was a weird time because I remember I was really into Jack Kerouac books and Basketball Diaries and stuff like that. So that just kind of the way he performed, I'm like, oh, this is cool. This fits right in, right? So it was a cool show to hear him, not really jam, right, and just kind of chat it up. It was cool.
Quick question: Have you seen Henry Rollins more than once?
No, spoken word once. And then saw him in concert once. That's
I never saw him in concert.
And I was at the spoken word with
him. Probably.
Yeah, I remember that. But
okay,
I don't remember much.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember him.
That's like I said, it's
the common theme with us.
It all sometimes.
Yeah.
We had fun.
Yeah, it was. I can't remember it, but we had fun.
Right?
We had some good times. We think there was some really good times.
Right? Yeah. Oh my God.
Well, it's funny how you mentioned. Basketball Diaries,
Jim
Carroll, because I'm not a huge spoken word guy, but that's the only other spoken word I went to was Jim Carroll.
Yeah,
at the Blind Pig.
Yeah.
And
maybe that was when we went to the Blind Pig because I think I went to that too.
It's
I remember we had talked about this before. But.
So so I think that's very possible.
Yeah.
Which would make sense because apparently we were spoken word buddies.
Right.
But when we went to Rollins, I think we went to the bar that was it was almost like a sports bar or something. But I don't remember the name of it because I remember going there a couple of times for other shows.
Popcat wasn't around back then, right? No, that was before that.
Because that was always my MO. If I hit a venue and I've gone to a bar, whatever. In and out easy. I'm going to do that every single time until it doesn't work.
Right.
And then I'll find a new thing to do.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So, Neil, we didn't get to you. What your soundtrack? I know you mentioned Train Spotting, but I'm not letting you off the hook like that.
Soundtrack? Shoot.
I mean, there's so many out there.
I got some weird ones. And we were texting back and forth about this.
I know.
So.
I get it. Gosh darn.
Like Dazed and Confused, you mentioned. I mean, that was a classic.
Yeah. I couldn't remember when we were texting the other day, and this is weird, but Great Expectations. Did you ever watch that movie? You remember that movie?
I never have.
That soundtrack's really good. And then the other one was... Yes.
Okay.
It's a weird movie, but the soundtrack was really good. And the other one was The Crow. Remember that movie? Mm-hmm. That soundtrack is phenomenal.
I had that
Real
CD.
good.
I definitely had that CD for sure.
Yeah, I have nothing over here.
No?
I mean, Dazed and Confused, of course.
Well,
Well, there was Reality Bites, all those '90s movies, right?
Well, the singles one to me is
was
probably
if you look at a list, it's on the top.
In my wheelhouse, right?
Yeah.
But that was the first time you heard Alice in Chains Wood,
right? Yeah.
Which I've been going down like Alice in Chains and Lane Staley Wormhole lately.
Yeah, I love Alice in Chains.
And I never knew that song was actually about Andrew Wood.
Oh, I didn't
from
know
Mother
that.
Love Bone.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And blew my mind.
No way.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Not spelled that way, totally different.
Right.
But I'm like, never knew that. But you had that. You had Pearl Jam, State of Love and Trust.
Yep.
And then the one we've mentioned, it seems like every episode, Drown by Smashing Pumpkins was on that. And that's the full 7-8 minute version with all the feedback and everything, which is the version of that song.
Yeah, Smashing Pumpkins is the one. I was never really that much into them.
No, and which I get.
My brother-in-law loves them. We
get that a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm just talking.
I don't know why that is. It just never listened to them. I like their songs. I just never was big into them.
Yeah, you just did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
get into them.
For me, that was me. That was my thing. I still see them as much as
they're coming this year.
Yeah, we're going.
Yeah, you guys are going?
6th.
Yeah.
It's a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, you should come with us.
Yeah, maybe I will.
Absolutely. Shaq's like, no, I hate Smashing Pumpkins.
No, I want to see them. Maybe I'll like them more.
Well, that's the thing is that's what I want. Out of all this, now me and Ryan Max here going to Ben Harper.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, me, Neil, Kennedy, and then my son Avery are going to Pumpkins.
Okay.
Paul might be going.
Nice. Well, then I'm definitely in.
But you should definitely go. Excuse me. And then we're actually thinking about that show, maybe setting the table up while we're tailgating, and just kind of just record and see what the hell happens.
Oh, that's awesome! I love it. Yeah.
So that was the first show that we had that we're going to go together.
That's cool.
But yeah, definitely, I would. And have you ever seen him live?
I've never seen him live.
Okay.
Nope. So that's why I want to see him. Because your whole rule too, by the way, like you've been beating that into me and listening to these podcasts.
I mean, I can't say it enough.
I've lost a lot of bands. I feel like that I can't see.
What are some of the big ones?
Well, I mean, like all the obviously Nirvana, Alice in Chains, all those guys. Like Stone Temple Pilots, I was a big fan.
Okay. See, Stone Temple Pilots, I appreciated it.
Yeah.
And I like there's some, maybe like you are with the Punk, but I wasn't like a fan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But Wyland was definitely a good front man.
Oh, he was awesome.
You know, with them and then with Velvet Revolver.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, they were awesome.
Absolutely.
Never saw them though.
Neither did I. I never saw them.
Yeah.
What about some of the other ones? So you can think of them.
Those were the big. BC Boys was one on my list. Never saw them.
Yeah, that.
I think I was always like, I'll see him later. Like it's the perfect fits the mold, right? Like I'll see him next year.
Right, and then then
all of a sudden, boom.
Everyone comes to Detroit, and it's like an effing Tuesday.
Right.
You know, because it's Detroit Rock City, they're a little sold out anyway.
Right.
But I know you just got to bite the bullet, and especially like now, it's like damn near got to get a hotel room for me to drive there and back.
Right.
Oh it's so effing far now, but it's worth it.
And that's funny, not funny, but terrible word to say, but Chris Cornell passed, Lane Staley passed.
That was the other one, Chris Cornell.
Kurt Cobain passed. You know, and I think you just Scott Weiland passed. I mean, like all these
Mark Lanigan,
yeah. Mm-hmm. All these guys passed. I was like, whoa. I mean, what if
they were all here today?
Mm-hmm. And we could all see them. You know, they're obviously going to be older, and then
yeah,
and that was
too bad.
You know, and like I said, I was going down my wormhole, right? And the amazing thing to me, Alice in Chains effectively stopped touring after '93.
Yeah.
You know, and then I think officially broke up in like 2000, but they hadn't done anything in years.
When was that Unplugged album? Because
96.
Yeah, so they got back together for that. Right?
So they got back together for that.
So big.
That's why that was so big. And then they did a couple of opening nights on the Kiss tour.
Oh,
Kiss came back and did a huge tour.
Their last tour.
And but, you know, no shit. You know, we talked about them before. F Kiss, get the fuck out, dude. I don't care about your final tour. Because there will be another one 3 years from now.
Right.
Because Gene Simmons doesn't have quite enough money to sleep on every night. But no, like you just mentioned, you know, like if all these people, Mad Season, I never really listened to them much, but now they've been in the wormhole. Oh my God, like
awesome.
That is an absolute amazing band.
Yeah.
And then you turned me on to that song "Long Gone Day," where it's Lane Staley and Mark Lanigan from Screaming Trees.
Oh yeah.
Oh my, stupid good.
Yeah, that and of course River of Deceit. But it's just, you know, it's a sad story when you start digging into all of that.
It was just a bad time,
and,
right? Like a lot of those guys.
Yeah, and just
it was.
And it's weird because there's not a ton out there on Alice in Chains or Lane Staley. Like, it seems like there's more and more is kind of starting to trickle out a little bit. But even then, some of it's more like second, third hand of people that are around the you know. So,
right.
But it's just a really, really sad how that all came to.
And I know we mentioned it, one of the episodes where Alice in Chains are still a band.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they still have
They have a new lead singer.
Yeah, the lead singer is great.
William Duvall, I think.
I don't know.
Something.
Yeah, and then who's the guitarist?
Jerry Cantrell.
Yeah,
Jerry's
awesome.
he's still
Jerry's
there.
Awesome.
Yeah,
he did some solo stuff too. Yeah.
And
that was good.
Yeah, and it was funny because as I was watching one of these videos or whatever, and they were talking to, it was like an old producer or something of Alice in Chains, and he was talking about, you know, kind of the new lineup. And he's like, people are saying how the singer's trying to sound like Lane Staley. He said, actually, when I hear them, they sound completely different.
Yeah.
But a lot of what you're hearing is the harmonies with Jerry Cantrell.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So when you layer that over these two voices, it
sounds similar.
It sounds a lot closer than it truly is.
And that's
always going to happen,
subjective
right?
To be the way you hear things. You know, like I could hear something totally different than you can hear. You know.
to me, he's got a lot of the same tone and all that, but it is. I mean, Jerry Cantrell carried a lot of those songs.
Yeah.
Not carried them, but was he was like a 50-50.
Did you ever watch those Unplugged shows?
Yeah.
Like, Lane looked like he was out of it.
So at that point in time,
and then all of a sudden he'd pop up and start singing. Like,
at that point in time, he was in really rough
shape.
shape.
Yeah. So
that's why I said it was just such a sad thing, you know.
But the music was amazing.
Absolutely.
That album.
And that was the thing is like, you know, I watched Pearl Jam 20. I mentioned that an episode or so ago the other day, and they were showing like when they were first starting out.
Yeah.
And they were opening up for Alice in Chains. So like Alice in Chains was one of the biggest bands in Seattle when all that started breaking.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think it was Facelift with Man in the Box was released.
Yeah.
And they were the first band to go gold, which is 500,000 albums, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Nevermind came out, and then Nirvana just blew it up.
Yeah.
You know, so everyone always was like, Nirvana actually... But Alice in Chains really kind of was the bigger band first, starting out.
They were all right around the same time.
Right, they were all around the same time.
Like within a couple of years, right?
It was funny because I was... reading, and it's like they always label everything as grunge coming out of there, but they were like, all these bands were different. Where like Pearl Jam was more of like a classic rock band.
Yeah.
Soundgarden was like more alternative.
Yeah.
Nirvana was more punk.
They all wore flannel stuff.
Right. That's how they grouped them, right? Alice in Chains was more like a heavy metal.
Yeah, for sure.
So they all had their own flavors, but they kind of got lumped in together
and
compared against each other when really they just kind of needed to be evaluated on their own merit.
Right. It's because they came out same place, same time.
Which is why a lot of people didn't like Billy Corgan, because when all that shit was happening, they always lumped the Pumpkins in with them.
And
he was always like, no, we're real musicians. And
that guy.
But you know what? That's when he lost a lot of people way back then.
Sure.
And I mean, I'd said this a million times. The last couple of times we've seen him, like you can tell he's kind of gotten a lot more humble.
Yeah.
He's like, I finally realized people don't care what I say.
Yeah.
So it was good to hear. He's come around and stuff. But it's funny that turns a lot of people off.
Yeah, big time.
So.
You're talking about Pearl Jam. Like, I was a big Pearl Jam fan for a long time, but then when that whole Ticketmaster thing happened, like, I stopped paying attention to them. I never saw them because of that. Like, I've never seen them.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
Really?
Yeah, because it's not easy to get tickets. Well, it wasn't. I don't know. They're probably back on Ticketmaster now, but
of course they are.
Yeah. But that whole thing, and I was like, fuck those guys.
Well, didn't we see?
But I love their music.
Yeah, didn't we see Pearl Jam like 3 times in 1 week?
He said that every time. Yeah. They were one of the 4 bands we saw in 6 days.
All right.
Okay. Close.
Yeah, I technically have been at a Pearl Jam concert 3 times. I've seen them twice.
Oh, yeah.
Because I mentioned before the Lollapalooza.
Right.
It was like the best lineup ever.
Yeah.
And basically slept through a Pearl Jam, Soundgarden.
Yeah, jeez.
And then I saw them at the Chrysler, which is right when Versus came out.
Okay, yeah.
Which, I mean, that was killer, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Basically, we were playing Versus in 10. I mean,
right.
And I'm in college. Like, oh my God,
the
it's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And then we saw them at Pine Knob around 2000. And I haven't seen them since.
Yeah.
So it's been like 23 years. So I just bought tickets.
Are they coming?
No.
Okay.
Well, not to Michigan.
Yeah.
Not to Detroit.
They don't come to Michigan, right? That's the other thing. They don't come to Michigan very often.
And
you're going to sweet, sweet Indiana, aren't you?
I'm going to Indiana.
Oh.
But yeah, they only are doing like 12 shows, and they were doing 2 in Chicago and 1 in Noblesville, Indiana.
Okay. Yeah, been there.
Noblesville?
Yeah, it's right by Carmel.
At the Ruoff Center?
Oh, I've never been.
Oh, not to a show.
No, not to a show there, no.
Well, because I was looking at it, I'm like, okay, I could go to Chicago, that's about 4 hours, then go to Noblesville, Indiana, that's about 4 hours.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with Chicago
it's way easier drive.
Yeah,
way easier drive.
And way easier drive, but then I started looking at the venue. I mean, it's an outdoor venue similar to Pine Knob.
Cool.
I haven't seen Pearl Jam in 20-some years. I'm like, I don't care what I'm paying, I'm going.
That's awesome.
I've always been a huge fan. I've always had a love-hate relationship, I think, with Eddie Vedder a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
And, because like you said, like the whole Ticketmaster thing.
Yeah. Just...
You know, and he stood on his morals and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? When they got inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
yeah,
they've had like 8 drummers. They were allowed to have 2.
Oh.
And the guy that like played on Versus and did all these tours wasn't included. And
really?
so you stood up against Ticketmaster, but you're not going to
won't
stand
help
up
out
for
your
me.
drummer.
And you're
Yeah.
like totally, you know, like
yeah.
he did whole like 5-page diatribe,
Wow.
like took it out in the paper, you know,
Oh, my
like wrote up
gosh.
this whole letter.
Wow.
Which, yeah, I kind of get, but no, I'm super excited.
That's cool. When is that show?
September 10th.
Oh, okay.
And actually, my brother-in-law, John, who was on episode 2, is going to go with me. And like I said, dude, price is through the roof, but
Yeah.
fuck it, I don't know if I'll see him again.
Right. Yeah. That's.
You know, and it's like still Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the original lineup.
That's going to be a really good show.
Right, and the drummer is the
Not
sound
on
guy.
Wednesday, is it?
It's on a Sunday.
Is it? Oh,
But
okay. Not bad.
we're gonna drive down, go to the show, and drive back
Oh, wow.
same night.
Wow.
And then work. I'm gonna have to take the Monday off.
Just let you guys know.
Let you know now. I'll put it in next week.
September 11th, please.
Oh my gosh.
So, any cool shows that you've been to? I mean, I'm sure you got some that you can think of. I want to hear about them. I also want to hear about stuff you might have coming up.
Yeah. No.
What are some in the old vault?
Oh man.
Little Shack
There's a
wheelhouse.
Limp Bizkit one coming that I want to take you to, but we'll get there.
But you know,
Let's just do
before
it
you
now.
get started. That's fine. I will say about Limp Bizkit, and if you heard me with John about Woodstock,
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect him to do anything else than what he did.
Yeah.
That's Limp Bizkit, and that's
Those were
Fred
his
Durst. He's
songs.
going to put on a show.
Right.
So to sit and say, "Hey, can you tone it down?"
You can, yeah.
Screw it, I'm going to go be, which I
What if
totally
he-
respect.
Yeah,
that is rock and roll.
Yeah.
And he was a producer. He was this. He
Right,
was that.
right.
He's a director. So he's definitely a talented dude.
Yeah.
The music just didn't hit.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Have you seen Limp Bizkit
No,
Limp
I
Bizkit
haven't.
lately?
I haven't.
Like on video?
No.
All right. I'm sure some of the viewers, 400 of you, whatever. He is totally like different now.
Oh, really?
And he comes out like not in a suit or anything, but he comes out and he's not. But he sings it like really slowly.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It's bizarre, but it's still good because some of those songs I still crank. Shaq, you and I listened to Real Olympics so many times at UND. Boom!
Hell yeah, we did.
I mean, I didn't mind it. I still will if I'm on the
Pre-game,
radio.
we used to listen to it. Yeah, man.
If I'm the radio,
Until
then
Marcel would go turn it off,
Yeah.
and then we'd have to listen to something else.
fucking violin. But he's totally. It's weird. Like I've seen a live show, not on YouTube or something. He's just like. Did it off with a nookie, and he doesn't even like.
No
go,
way.
He doesn't go. Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
weird.
gosh.
It's weird, but it's still cool.
What was the cover they did? And it was like a really
Oh
slow,
no!
stripped down song, and I just saw.
Gotta
this the
have
other-
faith. That.
No, because that gets hard.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like I'll try to think of it.
Yeah.
Head into your.
Well, no. So like, there's this festival coming to Ohio State Reformatory Center or whatever. Which do you know what that is? That was the site of Shawshank Redemption.
Oh,
So it's a 3-day festival. It said Mansfield, Ohio, so that's why I started looking at it. You had talked about being to Mansfield before, but I think this is a different spot. But it's called like what's it called? Jeez. Incarcerated.
Okay.
So it's like it's a tattoo and rock like festival.
Okay.
And Limp Bizkit's there, like POD, like all these crazy metal bands. Like I'm like, I want to go. I talked to my son about it last night. He's like, I'm going. It's in July, so I'm like,
So your son is what, about 18, 19?
yeah, 18.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So you guys
That'd
are
be
going?
a fun little
So
trip.
well, we didn't buy tickets yet, but I think we're.
When
gonna
is
try.
it?
It's July 14th through
You
the
guys
16th.
should go.
Yeah.
Get some
Yeah.
video.
And the whole Limp Bizkit conversation came up, so I started like looking. Do they even tour anywhere? Yeah. So I'm like, I'm going. So yeah, we're
and
gonna
you've
try to
never
go.
seen them live?
No.
You gotta go.
Yeah, that's
So,
what I want to do.
like, Limp Bizkit, never seen them, check. It's a road trip, check. And
Yep.
it's with your son.
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
Absolutely. So have you, do you go to shows with your kids at all? Have you taken the shows or?
So actually, last summer, the Chili Peppers we saw. I went with.
And that was with, who was with them?
Oh, jeez, that
Oh, the Strokes.
the Strokes. Yeah.
Yeah, my daughter and son-in-law went to
Oh,
that
really?
show. Yeah.
Yeah, it was an
He's a
awesome show.
huge Red Hot Chili Peppers
Yeah,
fan.
and
So
I
is
like
my
the Strokes too.
grandson, actually.
So I took my son and his best friend and his best friend's dad.
Okay.
which we had just spent spring break together like a couple months before. So it was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Great show at Comerica Park. I bought these tickets like a year in advance. I told my wife, I don't care what they cost. I'm buying them.
You
I've never
sent me
seen
a couple of videos. Like,
this guy invited, and he did a fantasy football draft. That's weird.
I couldn't make it, but you sent me videos, and you're like, dude, Neil, this is great. I was like, darn it.
It was amazing.
He's not going to the Lumineers.
I know. That's why I brought it up. Yeah. Oh, no. But they brought their moms out at the end of the show because, Chad and Ketis are from Michigan. So it was like we're walking out and like they stop everybody and they bring their moms. Oh, like the sweet old ladies. It was hilarious.
So I have seen the Chili Peppers. Yeah. Actually, the Lollapalooza where I passed out with Pearl Jam. They were the headliners. And, great show. There are definitely Red Hot Chili Pepper songs I like. Yeah. But, for the most part, it's, again, like you said, there's something about them. But I've learned to separate this from the music.
I mean, if you like Primus and Les, you gotta like Flea, right? Like
I don't mind Flea.
He's amazing, dude. Like I love him.
I don't like give it away.
Don't give me that look. Don't give me that look, Neil.
Well, no, I'm.
Oh, you're talking to him?
Yeah, I can't believe Caleb. I mean, come on.
He's amazing.
I do. Like I said, it's a love hate. I do. Yeah. I've always loved Under the Bridge.
It's a love hate.
They'll come on, my wife will be like, "Oh my god, I hate this song." I'm like, this is the one song I actually like by them.
Wow.
No, actually, I did back in the day. I loved. Was it Blood Sugar?
Yeah,
Sex
Blood
Magic?
Sugar Sex Magic. Yeah,
I loved that when that first came out. So what else have you seen in the?
Jeez, what else did we see? I mean, nothing. Not too much recently. Yeah, we saw. I was just going back. Neil and I were talking about a show we saw back in the day with the 89X Stole Christmas.
Yeah.
When Bush was there at Cobo Hall.
Yeah.
So that one threw me back a little bit. Like that was a really fun show.
So that show had Bush, Ben Harper.
Yeah.
Oasis.
Yeah, Oasis was there too.
Was it Blues Traveler?
I think Blues Traveler was there. Yeah, because I looked at the set list the list of people that were there last night. Yeah. I think they were there.
And I don't think it was Rusted Root, but it
wasn't Rusted Root.
There was 5 bands, but what a great show.
Huh.
At Cobo, too. And I feel like it was one of the last shows at Cobo.
Oh, yeah.
Like, right after that.
I think Cobo got,
they stopped doing concerts.
They stopped doing, what a great show that was.
Oh, it was awesome.
That had to have been a while ago because Oasis.
It was like 99.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
That's a pretty sweet show.
It was a lot of fun.
Harper included.
In that show, so they just played like their 3 best songs, like Oasis played Wonderball, everybody, they just played like their 3 best songs. It was like a mini concert packed into
a couple hours or whatever. Yeah. It was fun.
So sweet. Blink 182.
They must have been there. Yeah.
It was Blink 182. Yep.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's a pretty serious show.
It was.
Actually, like, peel it back and look at all the bands that were there.
And it was like a last minute thing. We're like, hey, let's go. Because we were at school in Detroit and right down the street. Let's go.
We talked about it. I believe it was a Sunday night.
Yeah.
And you're like, let's go. I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. I think me, you, and I think Quinter went.
Yeah, I think Quinter went. Yeah.
And then there's, 10 or 12 of us.
Yeah, probably some.
Tozy.
I have no idea who that is. I remember the name. I remember the name.
He's a successful doctor now.
Yeah, that's right.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Back then,
but it's funny you guys talk about that show because that reminds me and just Gruey one time went to. Yeah. It was called Planet Fest.
Oh yeah.
I think it was 96.3 back in the day. Planet.
Oh yeah.
And. It was one of those. It was a Sunday concert. It was an all-day thing. There was like 7 bands, and it was one of those ones where I was just like, "Hey, does anyone want to go?" They're like, it's a Sunday,
right.
So I'm like, "Hey, Greer, you want to go?" I was like, "Yeah, sure,
yeah, let's go."
I do nothing, So get Gruey and we head down over to Pine Knob. And you mentioned concerts being great for people watching. So you walk up in the Pine Knob, and we always walk left first.
Yeah.
And you have all like where you're buying your drinks.
Right.
On the right are like the rocks.
Yeah.
And then right after that, you start seeing the hill and everything opens up. Me and Gruey sat on those rocks almost the entire day.
Oh no!
And just people watched and just getting,
Yeah.
And we're
close to the beer stand there.
There was the only bands that we even cared about.
Wasted.
Was one was called Grantley Buffalo.
Oh wow! I remember them.
Yeah. Okay. And it was Grantley Phillips was the guy's name. He was the head of the band, Grantley Buffalo. And I totally forgot about them, but I started watching the show Beef with my wife.
Okay.
Have you ever watched that?
No.
On Netflix?
Never heard of it.
So it's Steve Young or whatever from Walking Dead.
Dude
from Troy.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's an all like Asian cast, directed everything, but it is awesome. And it basically is like a road rage thing that spills over to like 10 episodes, but the one episode, like at this key part, they play Mockingbirds by Grant Lee Buffalo.
No way.
And I heard that song and it was like, like the dog it hears something.
He woke up.
It was to the point like Emily's like, what? I'm like, oh my God, I haven't heard this song in like 30 years. So I immediately started downloading all this shit to Spotify, but they were there.
Oh, no way.
And then Agents of Good Roots. Which I only have one CD by them. I don't even remember why I ever even listened to them.
I don't know either, but that album is wonderful.
The album's awesome, and every time I'll come on, you'll be like, oh my God, I love this album. And it was Agents of Good Roots, so like the entire time we're sitting on the rock. It never even moved for Grant Lee Buffalo.
Yeah.
Agents of Good Roots, we walked over to like the railing, right where you can see.
The railing.
They finished, and me and Gary walked back and sat on the rock.
Yeah, you don't want to leave your rock for too long.
And it was amazing. It was still there. I'm like, well, who doesn't want to sit here?
Yeah. Nobody else in this whole place?
And then,
That's Callenger's seat.
and then the headliner was the Wallflowers.
Oh, Wallflowers. Oh, I got a funny one.
And as soon as they started, me and Gary look at each other. It's dark. We're still sitting on this rock, and we're like, do you even want to watch? Like, no, let's just get the hell out of here. And then we drove home. It was like we went there to sit on the rock, watch like a 30-minute set by Agents of Good Roots, but it was a great day.
No way.
Beautiful summer day at Pine Knob.
I have a similar story. We went to, this was 94. We went to the Phoenix Amphitheater.
Oh, yeah.
Is that place still there, by the
I don't
way?
think so. That
was one of the best places to see
It was like on
show.
top of a parking garage.
But it was awesome.
Yes, it was sweet. I saw Tool there.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I remember they were there.
Yeah.
It was another 89X show. And the headliners were Weezer and Veruca Salt.
Okay.
But we saw 311 playing on the second stage. There was like 10 people there watching them because it was in 94. Nobody knew who the fuck they were.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was like I bought a T-shirt that day. I was hooked like forever. And then I found out they were from Nebraska, which my family's from Nebraska. I'm like, oh, I'm all in with these guys. That was awesome show.
Did your dad used to wear Nebraska gear?
All the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
He had that
All right.
hat with the
That's
guns
so
on
funny.
it. Yes, for sure.
It's only been partially replaced by CC stuff now, but yeah, he still sports it. But yeah, that was amazing, and it was like one of those all day festivals. There was a bunch of bands, but I just remember 311. I remember the sweater song at the end. I remember Veruca Salt being like, oh, I don't really care about this, but like Weezer was good and 311 was amazing. So yeah, that was one of the best shows I ever saw. And that place, like, it was so much fun to see a show there. We went with a big group of people. I was in high school. Like, we just had a great time.
Absolutely. Well, you mentioned the festivals like Horde Fest.
Yeah.
There was one Horde Fest. I don't even remember which one, but I saw Wilco on the second stage.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, there was like 30 people there.
Right. That's what's cool about
But they're playing like they're at a stadium.
Yeah.
It's not like they're holding anything back.
Right.
And I mean, I saw Tool on the second stage at Lollapalooza 93.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, like you said, like I'm here to Maynard.
Yeah,
like
it's amazing.
I mean, it's like you don't even need the amps or anything; they can just sing and it'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those second stages were the best. And it's been a long time since I've gone to a good festival.
Yeah.
I just.
Well, there's that like country music one or whatever. What's that called? Faster Horses.
There's Faster Horses,
and
then
I've never been to that, but I'm not a country music guy. That's the one music I want.
I can't do it. Can't.
I'm the same way.
I was in Jackson Center, Ohio for 5 years.
Yeah.
And that's all they played in the bars.
Oh, man,
and
tough.
I still couldn't.
Yeah.
And now I have to listen to it with Paul.
Yeah. Oh, he likes it, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I listened to like 10 country songs last night with Paul.
Oh, wow.
Oh, he's gone to see Aldine.
He's trying to get me to...
Combs.
Everyone keeps trying to convince me. My kids are trying to convince me. I'm like, get out of here.
Never. Get it out of here.
Yeah, right?
Not that good. Country, Morgan Wallen, Luke Combs, great. That's about it.
I do appreciate it. I appreciate you playing instruments. I appreciate you singing. I can't do that shit.
Right.
It's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah. I'm not into it.
The one thing that we forgot to mention, and I'm going to go back to when we went camping.
Yeah.
And
oh God.
It was always the best when it was a Saturday show because we always went Friday.
For sure.
Show Saturday.
Yeah.
You know, Sunday you just kind of unwind, you make your breakfast and head out, right? But I remember.
Try to hydrate.
It was this Horde show. And me and you were running late. Everyone was already there. Tents were already up.
Yeah.
But we had to work.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, heaven forbid, you gotta leave at 3 on a Friday. But anyway, so I think it was just me and you, my Red Explorer.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And we knew that by the time we got there, everyone was going to be, already
probably
ready
almost
to go.
7 o'clock.
So
already.
we grabbed a 32-ounce plastic bottle, and we had our Schlilowitz.
Oh,
if you remember, which
gracious.
was our friend Dario's Moonshine.
The Moonshine.
We always called it the Moonshine.
Yep.
But it's a plum brandy. Which is
delicious, by the way.
Oh, it's 100% delicious.
So many stories are based off that.
Yep.
I remember we had that with us, and of course, we were safe the entire drive there.
Of course,
it was like an hour and a half traffic through 75. We get to the campground, and we're like, second we got there. We pulled in, we see everyone. I don't even think we got out of the car. We took that bottle, and me and you just handed it back and forth till it was gone. And I swear to God, by the time we got out of that car, we were caught up with everyone who'd been there for like 6 hours.
That's probably why we couldn't remember some of that weekend.
Right.
Yep,
but
100%.
we hung out. We all had a great time.
Yeah.
That's always the point of these things, right? Is whether you go with one person like we have, or you go with these huge groups. It's just you connect with them. You have such a great time, and you end up remembering some of those things even more than the shows themselves.
Right.
Which is the fun part. And then you see each other after 15 years, right? I think it's probably, it's safe to say it's close to 15.
For sure, yeah.
And it's like we're catching up on all this stuff.
It's great.
And even funnier is that we actually started experiencing it with like our own family.
Oh yeah. My kids are big into music, man. They've been my daughter.
So what shows have they gone to?
I took my daughter to Pitbull last year with 3 of her and 2 of her friends.
Where was that at?
It was at Pine Knob.
Okay, nice.
And Iggy Azalea was the opener, and
Really?
I didn't even know who that was, to be honest with you.
I don't know.
The rapper.
Yeah.
That was just last year?
Yeah, last summer,
Really?
August. Yeah.
She was on hiatus for a while, had a baby and everything.
Yeah. So
I know my shit.
Yeah, whatever.
My
Izzy lover.
The funniest part about Pitbull was a great show. Like, it was a lot of fun.
High energy.
But the funny thing was, they were 15-year-old girls, which, like, I think the average age of that show was probably like 16, maybe.
Right.
So she couldn't wait to ditch me. So her and her friends went down the hill, and I'm sitting on the very top right of the hill in this group of parents that
with all the
got
other
ditched.
dads. And
It was so funny. I must have drank 10 beers, and then they're ready to go, and I'm like, all right, well, we gotta sit in the car for a little bit. It was fun though.
Coffee.
It wasn't 10 beers, but it was. It was fun though, and they had a great time. But it was a good show. Like, I had no expectations.
So did you take them to any shows like when they were like little, or just kind of as they kind of started getting?
Yeah. So like you mentioned, you guys keep talking about the Jonas Brothers. I think we did that one year.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Where'd you see them? Because
I think it was at the Palace.
Okay, so I think it might have been the same one where I took Kennedy to the Palace.
We definitely saw the Chainsmokers when the kids were young. My daughter told me that was her 4th grade year.
Okay.
Because we had access to like a suite.
I love the Chainsmokers with Coldplay.
Yeah.
What is that, Adventure of a Lifetime? I don't even know.
I don't remember.
I'm horrible at naming songs.
We had a suite.
I have a podcast about music, but I don't know lyrics. I don't know the names of any songs.
You know way more than I do.
Yeah, that was at the Joe though, so we had a suite, so that was a fun night.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that was
Joe.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
At the new Joe? Or
no, the
old
right before. It was just right
Joe.
before.
Oh wow,
yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
I never saw a show at Joe Louis or Kobe.
We saw Kid Rock at Joe Louis too in the same suite. Yeah, that was right about the same time.
Do you have a connection with the suite, or you guys?
Yeah, my brother-in-law has access to it. Yeah, through his company.
Awesome.
Yep,
that's sweet. Sweet.
Yeah, sweet.
I would love to experience a concert like that.
Yeah,
because I've never done that.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's fun.
I mean, I've gone to for work. I've gone to like hockey game. I've gone to baseball or whatever, and it's a super cool environment.
Right.
But like for like that, it's like I end up like drinking and eating, bullshitting with people more.
Right, yeah.
Because it's the sporting event.
Yeah.
Like with a concert, I think I would be like right in the seat, right down there watching.
Oh, and as I think would everybody else too.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to be watching, like,
right.
bullshit.
But if you gotta get up and go to the bathroom or whatever, if you want to grab another beer, like it's all
right.
it's
all
awesome.
right there. It's
yeah.
perfect.
Yeah,
the own little personal bathroom is like a game changer.
Oh yeah, it's unbelievable.
You can take dumps in there if you want.
Absolutely.
Throw up if you get too drunk.
In fact, I believe, I'm not sure, but I believe that's where Mama Cass died.
Yeah,
Was in the bathroom in a suite, choking on one of the ham sandwiches they were serving.
That's probably.
Put it in your Googler.
That's probably more accurate than what we had earlier. Yeah, that's probably the more accurate story.
Totally, it was in a suite.
Yeah. Other than that, the Dave Matthews, I've seen them a bunch of times, so that was probably one of the most recent shows I saw.
Okay. Are you going this summer to see them at all? Or
I would love to, but we're going to be in Pensacola.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, there's actually a couple shows.
Tuesday.
Oh, that's actually coming up. Like
it's like the 24th,
so,
and we leave like next week. So yeah, or 26th maybe. I think. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. But we'll be gone for that one.
I kind of want to see Dave Matthews. Not on the lawn. If the next time I see Dave Matthews, I want to see them close. And then that'll be the last time I see him.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Not last time, but next time I'll see him on lawn with no problems. But
did you see him at Comerica with me?
No,
I was there. I saw him at the I was at the Palace.
Yeah, at Comerica. Yeah.
Comerica, that was where I vowed I was never going to see.
Yeah, it was a terrible. Yeah.
Really? Oh, you were that guy. Okay, I thought you liked him.
I love them.
You just have seen him enough.
I love them.
Yeah.
I saw them a lot. And what did it for me, and this is where sometimes I am the concert snob, but I saw Dave Matthews and Big Head Todd opened up for him at State Theater, and I was literally front row center. My arms were on the stage.
Like Charlie at Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't have to muscle, any 16-year-old girls out of the way like Charlie I did, I'm sure, but no, and I paid $20 for that show.
No way. That's amazing.
But of course, that's right when they were first making it, because they're still playing State Theater.
Right, yeah, okay.
But then it's like fast forward like 2 years, and I've seen them like 4 times in that time frame. And Comerica comes, I pay $40. I'm in like the third level, like so far away, and just sounded like ass from where I was.
You couldn't.
And I'm like, never.
Didn't sound good.
No.
It couldn't.
And the only reason I saw him again was because I won the 2 tickets on the radio.
Oh, yeah.
And then me and Paul went because it was his birthday concert that year.
Yeah, there you go.
And,
birthday, bro.
Right. But it was just Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds.
Oh,
there was no one else,
awesome,
which was amazing.
Yeah.
I'd never seen that before. I always just bought those CDs.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite CDs ever. Yeah.
And it was just those
the
two.
Red Rocks show,
they released a bunch of them, but the Red Rocks one's
that's
the best
awesome.
one.
Yeah.
The Red Rocks.
Right.
The Red Rocks is the best one. But that was like we went and like it kind of rejuvenated my for Dave Matthews.
Yeah.
So I do, to your point, I kind of want to see him again, but close.
Yeah.
Where you're kind of in the mix.
Yeah.
Whereas normally I'm kind of, hey, I'm fine on the lawn.
Is he at Pine Knot? He's at Pine Knot this summer. Yeah. I wanted to go see it, but we're going to be gone. Bummer.
So do you have anything planned? Like anything bought, ready to go?
Nothing planned yet. Just a couple things I'm thinking about. Like the big festival I told you about in Ohio. That's one. Metallica. I can't stop looking at that show. And for years I've been like, I don't want to see these guys because they're just old now.
I know.
But have you looked at the stage setup for that show? Mm-mm. So they're playing in the round. It's at Ford Field, but inside of the stage, it's like an O. There's like a pit inside the stage, which those tickets are like $1,500 or something. But I'm like, how cool would that be to be like there and they're dancing all around, singing all around.
That's the best seat.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
But so that's been on my radar.
I actually don't mind. I'm not like a big Metallica fan, but I would love to see
I would see it.
It's because you keep saying it. Like, go see them because you never know when. And I've never seen them. So
it's funny because
they got to be 60 though, right? Like,
they got to. If not,
they're older.
Yeah. Mid to late 50s for sure. And it was one of those things, as we started this show, and like I pull up all these old concerts, and I think like you did. I'm like, when the hell was that? And thank God for Google, because I just put in like Metallica, blah blah blah, or what I started putting in was Lollapaloozas, because those would come to Detroit every year, and they would do like 3 or 4 3 or 4 shows.
Right.
But it was a traveling tour.
Yep.
And what blew me away was that towards the end of when they were a traveling tour was Metallica was the headliner of one of those.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I started looking at him like, I was at that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't remember seeing Metallica.
You don't remember seeing Metallica?
No, I swear to God. It's like, and it was one of those things too, like at that point in time, like I kind of like really scaled back drinking.
Yeah.
I became like the driver to concerts and stuff. And I'm like, that's a time where I should remember.
Right, yeah.
But I'm in the same. I'm like, I'm not a huge Metallica fan, but obviously you're gonna know everything they play.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
It's that thing where it's like, I kind of really want to go,
right?
But it's like, I don't know. Do you pull the trigger? It's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I've talked to a handful of people. Like one guy I work with, it's like his like dream concerts were Metallica, seeing them before he dies, and seeing Aerosmith.
Oh gosh,
and he's going to both this year, so like he's like excited.
Oh, he's all set.
And then a buddy of mine from high school, I mean, he's gone to like 400 or 500 shows, and he's going to both of them.
Oh wow!
Like, I remember in high school he loved Metallica back then, and I want to say it was like not the Metallica Guns N' Roses show where
wasn't it the
James
one you were talking
got
about?
Burned at?
Yeah.
But it was way before, like when Guns N' Roses was just kind of coming up.
Oh.
And it was at Pine Knob, and my buddy was there, and he's standing on his seat in the pavilion. And all of a sudden he got hit with something in the back, and he looks back. It was a damn brick.
Oh my God.
Someone brought a brick into Pine Knob and heaved it from the lawn, and he got hit in the back of the brick. And that was when he was like 15 years old or somewhere in high school. He was telling me this, and I was like, dude, you're like rock and roll.
Right.
You are rock and roll.
They probably blame that on Fred Durst.
Probably it wasn't. I guarantee he was probably like a 13-year-old punk at the time.
A young Fred Durst.
Ooh, look at me. I did it for the nookie, though.
No, but I got a couple other ones, and you've been talking about Freedom Hill a lot. And this
Never been.
Yeah, so like, and I've been there once, and it was, again, I don't know. I tried to figure this out last night.
I've been there once too,
and it was for like it was a random like Thursday night. I think we just went up there, and anyway, Darius Rucker is coming this summer, and I'm like, that might be kind of fun. Like,
there's your crossover to country.
I know, right? Yeah.
Well, if he plays some Hootie and the Blowfish songs,
I think he will. Yeah,
he should for sure.
That's one that I'm like,
I don't know any of his country songs.
I don't either, but I'm like, that might be fun to go see. Right? As long as he plays a Hootie and the Blowfish song, I'm good.
I thought his name was Hootie.
I thought it was too. Not gonna lie, I had to look up who Darius Rucker was.
His Darius.
Yeah.
Hootie.
Oh, Rucker. Smashing Pumpkins, I want to see.
You totally should.
And then how about this one? Snoop is coming.
I had
with
that one.
Too Short.
With Too Short?
Remember Too Short?
Yeah. Fuck yeah, I remember Too Short.
Oh my God.
When I saw Too Short on there, I'm like,
dude, that is like so.
Like that's the show I want to go see.
It's funny because I started
Pine Knob too.
Okay, so I had Snoop Dogg and Wiz Khalifa, but Too Short's part of that lineup.
It's like he was like.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like when I look at my kids, right? So we've had Kennedy on the show, and like she's obviously more geared towards my taste, where like she has this classic rock. I mean, even more than me. Like, it's amazing. But this classic rock, the alternative, everything. I mean, she loves everything. And then there's my son Avery. Like he wasn't as into music at first, and he's like into a lot of rap at first. But now he's like starting to broaden his rap. And that's what I remember with me. Like,
right.
Back in the day, like music wasn't that huge to me until I was about 14, 15.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and when it was that big, you know, a lot of times I'd look at what Paul was listening to, and but it was all rap at first.
Yeah.
It was Too Short. It was Slick Rick. It was
Two Live Crew.
Boogie Down Productions. Two Live Crew. NWA. It was all these guys.
Yeah.
And then so that's kind of how my son is. Like he's starting with all that and moving on from there. But I remember Too Short.
Yeah, when my son was in like second grade, I'd like give him and his buddies a ride in my car, and like I'd always put on NWA or Eazy-E, and they were like, "Oh, we love riding with Mr. Schack." Like it was so much fun.
Yeah, I don't know.
The best Eazy-E song ever is "Fat Girl."
Oh yeah, yeah.
Download it, listen to it, and don't worry about it. Just love it.
Right.
So speaking of rap, the other one I wrote down was Drake and 21 Savage.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm not huge fans, but I know that is an absolute huge show.
It would probably be a huge show.
Oh. And
at
ticket
LCA?
prices are ridiculous at LCA.
Oh, God. Anything at LCA is crazy.
Yeah.
I love LCA for show.
No, I just mean ticket price.
No.
My daughter just went to Taylor Swift last week.
Oh, did she really?
Yeah, God.
Oh, boy. Did she love it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she loved it.
Yeah.
But I heard that she's doing like 3.5 hour shows.
Dude, she played 44 songs.
That's insane.
It is insane.
I mean, wow. I don't want to say the prices and all that is worth it.
No.
But at least makes it
But from her
somewhat
perspective, to be able to do that every night, like, I don't know. Like,
how does she not?
It's amazing that she can do it.
Yeah, I know. It's really amazing.
That's amazing about singers. You know, they don't lose their voice more. You know,
and I want to say, like, maybe she realized she has a short window, but she's been around for a long time.
Since she was like 13,
yeah,
she's been around like 15,
I don't
20
know.
damn years already.
Yeah,
Almost.
it's crazy.
Absolutely.
Which the other huge one, which is Beyonce, right? So they're
My daughter was asking me last night.
So
do you think I can make $300 before August? I'm like, I'll buy you the tickets.
Well, it's July
And you can make
26th
$300
at Ford Field.
Yeah.
And but so that's what I always keep seeing is like they're comparing Taylor to Beyonce.
Yeah.
Who can make more, and they're talking like both of them are gonna like make a couple $1 billion.
It's insane, isn't it? Wow.
Which
good for them, I guess, but
they are great performers.
They are.
Like Taylor Swift writes her song, she plays the guitar, she sings. I mean, Beyonce writes, sings, does it. I mean, they actually put on a great performance. So it isn't like someone who's lip syncing.
Do you ever listen to her lyrics, though?
Who's
Taylor Swift.
I'm not a huge fan. I have one song on my 1,300 song playlist on Spotify by her, and it's called Exile, and it's her with Bon Iver or whatever.
Bon Iver,
yeah. And that's the only song I even have.
So the National have a song with Bon Iver. Yeah.
Do you?
The National.
Oh, the National.
The National.
Yeah.
They're
the
coming.
National actually played with Taylor Swift or something.
Yeah,
did they?
Song with Taylor Swift too. Yeah.
Yeah. So we talked about the National. It's like August 15th. It's around your birthday, and it's at like the Fox Theater.
He's got a fantasy football
or
draft,
Fillmore,
doesn't he? Or is that
probably?
No.
I've never seen the National.
I want to. I want to go see him too.
They're the best band ever.
Best band ever.
Besides Wilco.
What about the Lumineers? Are you going to that? You going to that one?
Lumineers are great.
I'm going.
Cal's going. I can't go. Got a fantasy.
My daughter made me buy her a ticket, but she's like, "You can't go." I'm like, "What do you mean I can't
go?
go?" I'm like, "You don't even know the songs." Like, I know the songs.
Hang with us.
Yeah, I will.
I know the songs.
It's fun. It's so funny. My kids want to hang.
My wife wants to go. I'm like, "All right, let's go."
Do it.
Yeah.
Hell
no, because me and Emily are going.
Yeah.
Kennedy and Avery are both going. Elena and Moose are going, but Elena's going to be about 8 months pregnant by the time, so we'll see.
Yeah.
With my second grandchild,
wow,
right, which will be a girl. We have like 8 people. Going.
Okay.
So you should totally Lon, of course.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
So yeah, you and your wife should definitely go and hook up with us.
Yeah,
awesome.
We will.
Have you seen Lumineers?
No. So I love their music.
This will be the 4th time.
Oh, really? Seen them. Yeah.
And I'm a huge if you love the band, I will go every time. Smashing Pumpkins, Ben Harper, Rusted Root. If they're coming, those 3 for sure I'm going to go about every time. Wilco, that's another one I really want to go see. But, for Lumineers, I'm like, do I really like them that much to keep going? And I'm like, fuck, I do.
Yeah.
It's just fun. The songs are fun. Yeah. I mentioned this before. A lot of their songs are short, so they rip through 25 songs at a concert, and it's just fun. You got a whole group of people. You're outside.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw them at Meadowbrook the first time, so super small.
Oh yeah.
Borns opened up.
Okay.
Which is I think he's from Grand Haven, Michigan.
Cool.
Which is super cool. And they set up this little mini stage, which is right where we were. So literally I was like, from me to you, watching them play 4 songs.
It's the absolute best, yeah.
And they played Subterranean Homesick Blues by Dylan.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever.
Right.
Then we saw them right before everything locked down COVID at LCA.
Uh-huh.
And Mount Joy opened up for them.
Okay.
So I'm like, holy shit.
Both
these concerts have been between the opener and them was amazing. And the way they had the stage set up at LCA, they would get out to the middle and stuff.
Right.
It was super cool.
Oh, that's cool.
And then we saw them last summer at Pine Knob. And like you had said, you're up at the very corner. You know, by the time we got in there, but they had camp opening up for them. Okay. And camp was sweet. And then this time, I don't even know who's open, but it's Pine Knob again.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. So Genevieve, sorry, we're going to go.
Absolutely.
It's official.
100%.
It's official.
I love it that we got another one.
Yeah, for sure.
So I had a couple others down here, not ones that I want to go to, but I thought since you liked Fred Durst and Limp Bizkit, like Godsmack and Stained or Disturbed, or those anything?
Godsmack. I saw Godsmack.
I figured. That's what I figured.
Shaq,
I saw Godsmack. Oh my God, they were so good.
I bet you they were good.
I think it was the only time I ever sat in the pavilion, but like. That was a great show. This was...
And they jammed.
Oh, my God. And it was a Monday night, Neil.
A Monday.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was a Monday. And then finally, the last one I had written down, and this was just kind of going back to like the first live show we ever saw. Rob Zombie's coming September 5th at Pine Knob.
Oh, my gosh.
And it brought me back to Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
Cover.
Yeah. So, if not for that story, Rob Zombie would probably never even
register. There's like two songs I actually like, you know. But I'm like, oh,
I wonder who's coming with him, because that might be a good
that
might be one that the opener's better than the headliner.
But he's one of those people where like you look at, I hate to say it, almost like a Fred Durst, right? Because like the way he directs and does everything But like with Rob Zombie, I mean, he directed those Halloween movies, and he's doing all that other crap on top of it. But so
I had one more for you. Oh, sorry. Just real quick. John Malkovich is coming to the Fillmore.
I saw that. So what the hell is that all about?
I don't know. I think it's probably like a spoken word, but since you're the spoken word guy.
Oh, my.
Well, I don't know. Is it you or is it me? We're trying to figure out.
It's true.
I've been the two.
But I like John Malkovich. I like his movies. I think he's an interesting guy. So that one I want to look into a little bit more.
Definitely.
It's in October, so there's some time. But it's at the Fillmore.
At the Fillmore.
So it kind of checked a couple boxes for me.
And it's a good excuse to get to Detroit.
Yeah.
That'll be... Okay.
I've always loved Malkovich as an actor. I did see that.
I don't think he sings or anything, right? No, I don't know.
I know. I think it is sing. Like
it might be poetry or something.
Some sort of performance.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how but not like singing.
And
then now that you mention that, I saw the other day that Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, really?
He's actually in town.
Jurassic Park?
But I think he's like in this like jazz band.
Oh, really?
I think he plays piano and sings and shit. So
They just put his name on it. He's in the back.
So
he's in the back.
That does kind of bring us to the end of the show. Cool. You know, Shaq, it has been fucking fun as hell to catch up with you.
For sure.
I'm glad you're here.
I'm holding you to the Lumineers.
Oh, yeah. No, my wife will be excited.
So we are definitely going.
Yeah.
But she doesn't have to be there.
Yeah.
That's fine. Go.
Yeah, she will not be biased. Yeah, that's fine.
But you know what? You might have to drive us home. But no, it's been awesome catching up with you. I'm super glad you came. Like I said, me and Neil, you were one of the first people that came to mind when we were talking about doing this.
Yeah.
And you know what? Who knows? Come season 2, season 3, we'll have you back on.
Yeah, for sure.
I know we only scratched the surface.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there's a lot more for sure. Cool.
So,
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for coming. Neil, great job again.
Good job, Neil.
Episode 7,
Thanks,
we
Shaq.
kicked your ass.
All right.
All right. Later.
Later, bro.
See you.